Hey, it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, My Asexual Life. It's the place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual. I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. Subscribe and hit the bell icon right now. So in today's episode, I've got a movie review for you. And the movie I'm going to be reviewing is Marvels. So if you haven't already seen it, please do not watch this video because I'm going to be giving spoilers. Now, the Marvels film, just simply Marvels, is the sequel to the first Captain Marvel film. The first Captain Marvel film came out, I believe, in 2019. And yeah, so in this movie, I'm gonna say that basically Captain Marvel, you don't kind of find out totally what's happened till later on, and if you're not very clued up on the Marvels and what happened with Captain Marvel in the first movie, then to cut a long story short, Captain Marvel destroyed the supreme intelligence, and that's the artificial intelligence that leads the Kree Empire. And this basically leads to a civil war on the planet Hala. And this is the Kree's home world. And so basically, the planet loses its air, its water, its sunlight over the course of 30 years, and it's getting desperate with no hope. Now, the Kree's new leader, Dar-Ben, discovers one of two quantum bands, and she then, I'll say it's she, but it could be any gender, um then basically she gets one of the bands and she wants to find the other one to become all powerful, all mighty, etc. So she pretends she has the Kree's best interests at heart, and she wants to call a truce and help the Kree go from that planet to somewhere else so that they can breathe fresh air and things like that. But when Captain Marvel gets involved, that she basically says about her being the destroyer, and or words to that effect. I don't know if it's a destroyer or some other type of phrase. I can't remember. Basically, um, Captain Marvel destroyed her planet, like I said, well, the Kree's empire, and yeah, I don't really totally get the Dar-Ben, Dar-Ben and the Kree. I don't totally get how they came to be related in the first place, but how they came to be together. But basically, Dar-Ben is the new leader of the Kree Empire. But because Captain Marvel shows back up on the scene, then Dar-Ben feels the Kree betrayed her in some way because they think she's working with Captain Marvel. And Captain Marvel was basically coming to help. But it's a very strange story. There are different plots going on kind of at the same time. So there's a young girl who calls herself Miss Marvel, and her idol is Captain Marvel. And this Miss Marvel has superpowers, and she has one of these quantum bracelets. And so the enemy, if you like, which is Dar-Ben in this, becomes the enemy. They have the other bangle. And so Dar-Ben wants to get the bangle from Miss Marvel so they can be the most powerfulest entity in the universe. And basically that's mostly the gist of the story, is that the Kree were going to be led by Dar-Ben. They thought it was a good deal to get their people out to safety, and Captain Marvel was saying basically that it was just like a ploy, you know, and Dar-Ben isn't good. And so it's a little bit like complicated, but totally uncomplicated at the same time. And so anyway, what happens is Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, and also Captain Marvel, she had a friend, if you remember, in the actual Captain Marvel film. And she had a friend on Earth, I believe. And this friend had a daughter. And so this daughter ends up being one of the Marvels, if you like, the superheroes. And you find out throughout the story, I am going to spoil it for you now, that her mother died in the blip. So when there was a blip, her mum died, and her mum died of cancer. And so she was upset that Captain Marvel never went back to be with her and her mum when she said she'd come back before. And then Captain Marvel admits partway through the movie that she did actually kill the artificial intelligence that caused the war. And so what happens is the Miss Marvel, the friend's daughter, who's now a superhero in her own right, because apparently she got struck by a witch's hex or something that's given her special superpowers, lightning or something. I didn't really totally get it. A witch's hex she was struck by, and it's turned her into having this light source of power, I think. So basically, Miss Marvel likes to call her like Professor Marvel, and so they end up being Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and she keeps trying to change her name to like Professor Marvel or something else, which is her friend's daughter. So basically, that's how come they say they're the Marvels, you know. And anyway, so what happens is because Captain Marvel's come on the scene, the enemy, which is Dar-Ben, they how do I explain it? They believe that the Kree has sided with the person who destroyed their planet, basically. And so what I didn't really understand is when it's on Wikipedia, right? I am reading some of this from Wikipedia in the beginning. It says that uh basically Captain Marvel destroys the supreme intelligence, the artificial intelligence that leads the Kree Empire. This leads to a civil war on planet Hala, the Kree home world, rendering the planet barren as it loses its air, water, and sunlight over the next 30 years. The Kree's new leader, Dar-Ben, discovers one of the two legendary quantum bands which were used to create a network that travels fast across space. She uses the band to forcibly open a new jump point that connects to the network. The resulting anomaly impacts the entire network, including a jump point near Earth's Saber SABER space station run by Nick Fury. And then Captain Monica Rambeau, which is basically who Miss Marvel named as Professor Marvel, investigates a jump point near Saber while Captain Marvel investigates a new one that Dar-Ben opened. When they touch their respective jump points, basically Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau. I call her Rambo, but it's Rambo. Rambo. Like bureau, you know, Rambu. Investigate. So basically, Rambu, Captain Marvel, and Miss Marvel's Kamala Khan, they all switch places because of these bands. So basically, Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, has the other quantum band on Earth. And so they end up, when the three use their different light-based powers to fight off the Kree enemies, they all keep swapping places. Hi, Jonathan. Nice to see you. And so, yeah, personally, I didn't like this movie as much as the other films. I actually wasn't that keen on the first Marvel's movie, you know, Captain Marvel itself, I should say. So this for me was I don't usually say bad things about superhero movies because in general I love superhero movies, but I thought a lot of it was very far-fetched and I didn't think the storyline was that great. But I thought the same about the first film, Captain Marvel. I thought this film was better than the first one in terms of it had 3 characters in it that were being the Marvels, if you like, and you got to see a bit more of Captain Marvel, like, a bit you got to see her a bit more in, like, more how can I put it? More ordinary settings, if you know what I mean. Like, she was basically playing around with the other 2 Marvels on the spaceship and said, "It's nice to have some company because I don't usually have, company much here." But overall, I didn't actually like the film that much compared to other superhero movies. I just thought the storyline wasn't that great. It was very far-fetched. I didn't think it was that brilliant a storyline anyway, and I just thought it was a bit lame, but I don't usually think that. Jonathan, I've only seen the first Captain Marvel, wasn't really keen on it, forgot almost everything that happened. Yeah, the first Captain Marvel film, I didn't think that was great. And the reason I don't think these movies are that great, I think the second one's better in some ways than the first, but it's because she, Captain Marvel, as far as I'm concerned, because of her name and her being the Captain Marvel, as in the whole you basically by her name, I see her as the biggest almighty power of the whole Marvel universe. But in the movie, she seems like she's one of the lamest, the weakest, the most boring, if you like, and the one that doesn't actually do as much. She doesn't save the day as much. She lets people die, and it's like you're supposed to be this almighty, all-powerful superhero, yet other superheroes that have got less power than you are doing better than you. They have better storylines and they seem to be succeeding a lot more and saving the world a lot more. And so this is why I didn't really like I didn't see it on the cinema. I saw it on Disney Plus because I missed it at the cinema. I wanted to go and see it at the cinema, but now I'm like, well, I'm glad you didn't really, Sandra, because it's not that great. Um, I did think it was very far-fetched, and I just thought the storylines were some of them were absolutely ridiculous. I mean, yeah, if you want comedy, you can go ahead, have a good laugh, but it's like, this is just stupid. How is this relevant to the almighty universe and the power of Captain Marvel? It just seemed didn't ring true, and it just seemed really stupid. So basically, they swap places. The 3 Marvels keep swapping places, right? And that's quite good in some ways that they keep changing, over and they end up in different positions and Miss Marvel, the young girl, her parents' house gets completely destroyed. I thought it was good that they've got, she's basically Khan. So I think it's a Pakistani family, I think, they didn't actually say, but they come across as a Pakistani family, I think. But it's nice they've got a different culture in there. I don't exactly know how the different culture fits into it, but I think it's good, like, for diversity that they've got some different culture in there, although it looks completely out of place, really, in the great big universe of things. But I think it's good they have that for diversity. Um, what does Jonathan say? My favorite Marvel movie. Uh, oh, you think it's the latest Spider-Man? My favorite Marvel character is Iron Man, but they've killed him off. But I believe he will come back one day. All they have to do is get the time stone and bring him back. I'm like, are all you have to do is get the time stone and bring him back. Is it that difficult? Is it that difficult? No, it's not that difficult. Go and get the time stone and bring him back. It's so easy. It just drives me up the wall. But with all these blips in the space and with all these parallel universes, even if they don't bring him back into the reality that's meant to be current, I'm sure they could bring him back into another reality and have a whole nother load of movies off that. But I just don't know if, like, I don't know if they want Robert Downey Jr. to pay him to come back to do that. But I just think it's so easy to bring Iron Man back. It's so easy to bring a lot of the characters back. All they need is to get the time stone and reverse time, innit? Or find a loophole in the time and, like, drag him back to the current one. It's pretty simple, really. I don't know why they faff around. Oh, it's more referring to my specific movie, not character, says Jonathan. Ah, okay. It's very interesting. I went to the doctors today because I've got a rash. This has got nothing really to do with the Marvels movie. And I don't want to get too distracted because I want to stick to the Marvels movie review because people are watching it for this reason. But to cut a long story short, I've got this rash that's growing up my body and it's not good, and I'm worried and concerned about it, right? I went to the doctors and I was wearing my new Marvel top because I got it from the Disney store in London after my holiday, which is the last part of my holiday was going to London. And he's like, he was diagnosed me to go home and watch a movie, Spider-Man movie, because he says, clearly you like Spider-Man. I'm like, how do you know that? Because it says Marvel's on there. It doesn't actually say Spider-Man. He goes, oh, you like Spider-Man? I'm like, how do you know? He goes, oh, because of your top. I'm thinking, but that's not a Spider-Man top as far as I know. Anyway, he told me to go home and watch a Spider-Man movie, but I ended up watching Marvels instead. So anyway, so the good part, I guess some of the good parts, if you want to say good parts, is the fact they switch places. That's quite interesting. I like the young girl in it, although I thought she wasn't Miss Marvel, although I thought she wasn't given enough chance to show her true powers and what she can do with them so much. You know, I thought they could have made her a bit more of a priority in the movie, in other words. I thought it was good that they showed the backstory of the fact that the the other superhero, the one that I said got struck by a witch's hex or whatever, which is Monica Rambeau. I keep thinking it's Rambo. Um, Monica Rambeau. Yeah. I can't even remember what I was going to say about her now, but yeah, they all go under this. They all have this like thing on their head where they go back through past memories, and then you see Captain Marvel's remembering the conversation she had with her mother because it's the friend's daughter. Rambo is her friend's daughter who's now got superpowers. Um, that's how you know that her mum died of cancer because that's what they wrote into this, that's what happened. But I have to say a big but. I've just told you her mum died of cancer, right? You must watch the credits. If you watch Marvels, you must watch the credits. I always tell people to watch the credits. And a lot of people are like, why do I need to watch the credits? I don't like watching the credits. Watch the credits because it gives you an extra bit of the movie. And we're told in this movie, right, that her mum died of cancer. Her mum's dead. But if you watch the credits, something happens to do with the end of the movie. Something happens where, yeah, that's not all as it seems, shall we say. It is what it seems, but it's not quite as it seems. So anyway, that's like going to be the next movie, I think. So, what was I going to say? Oh, Jonathan says, I watch the credits in every movie now. Oh, you like Loki, do you? Loki. So yeah, anyway, let's get back to the Marvels movie. So a good bit is they swap places. A good bit, if you like, is they got some light-hearted stuff with Captain Marvel having two superhero friends. But basically, you know, the whole point is they're trying to get, they end up trying to get this bangle, this which is a quantum bangle. You know, it basically allows you to rip holes in space and jump in time and jump through different portals and blah blah blah. It rips the universe apart basically and creates different points in time and travels between them. So you could argue that's quite cool, but anyway, the whole point is they're trying to get this bangle off the enemy. The enemy is trying to get the bangle off the Miss Marvel, and it's all to do with these two bangles, right? And so yeah, it's you know, and that's basically the gist of the story, which is a bit boring, I think. You know what I mean? And I just don't think it's that great, you know? It's like it's a bit of a lame storyline, you know? And at one point, the bit that's really, really, really far-fetched is the fact that Captain Marvel's married in this movie. So at one point in the movie, she goes to this place and that they don't really speak that much, the majority of them. They just say everything in song. So you see Captain Marvel plus Miss Marvel plus Rambo all go together to like this planet place. And when Captain Marvel's there, she starts like she starts being amongst the singers and saying, "Oh, she had a legal agreement." And so you find out she's got a marriage of convenience to this guy, and it's like you never saw this guy in the first movie. You never heard about him before. And all of a sudden, she's meant to be married to this guy who's on some weird planet where most of the time they just sing and they don't probably communicate, but he's bilingual, so he can communicate. And she enlists him and his army of soldiers basically to help fight the bad person. But I just thought this is totally unnecessary and a really lame part of the movie. It's just like totally stupid. And she's meant to be a princess, so she's meant to have married a prince as a marriage of convenience in some random planet where the majority of time they just communicate through song. And she does this dance with him and then asks him to help her fight the bad person. I just thought it was so lame and weird. I'm like, what the hell is going on with this movie? Like, why did they put that stupid stuff in there? It was totally unnecessary. I mean, they didn't even win against the baddie. It didn't really do much for the movie. I'm just thinking this is just so stupid. And so I just didn't like that at all. I just thought this is pathetic and stupid. And why on earth, when you could be having like really big proper fights and you could be having all powerful stuff happening and you're just doing this lame stuff. And then what happens is Nick Fury, his it's really weird as well. So Nick Fury's got a ship and uh Miss Marvel has got a brother and two parents, mum and dad. And they end up being with Nick Fury in the end because their house is smashed to smithereens because the alien type of people were, I think it's to do with the baddie. They ended up coming down in the Khan's house, which is what Miss Marvel's last name is, Khan, Miss Marvel, not Captain Marvel. And so because they end up switching places, Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel, they end up bringing like the alien type of people down to Earth. And so it wrecks the Khan's house because they have to fight them in the house. And so Nick Fury then keeps the mum and dad and brother safe in his spaceship. But all of a sudden, this is really weird as well. I think there's too much random shit going on in this movie. I really do. This just doesn't really make sense or tie together properly. So all of a sudden, there ends up being this part of the spaceship, which looks like it's got some silver foil on it, and it's got a door, and they take this thing out and it looks like a brain. And they're like, "Oh, should we tell Nick Fury or not?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, I think we should tell him." And it's really weird because um it's like it looks like a brain. And so they're examining this brain type thing, and then all of a sudden they find there's loads of them all over the spaceship. It's like, where did the F did they all come from? And then all of a sudden it replicates the cats. That cat that's got like, if you missed the first movie, basically there's a cat. The cat was Captain Marvel's friend's cat, but it's not actually a cat as such. It's like a weapon. And the cat opens its mouth and has like octopus tentacles and sucks in bad guys and things like that and eats them, right? But it spits them out again as well. So anyway, this thing that looks like a brain, when Nick Fury's ship is in distress and basically the enemy ends up like trying to like set it on fire and they need to get out of the spaceship because the enemy's coming and trying to kill them. They haven't got enough pods for all the staff and people on there to get off the spaceship. I think they've got like 15 pods and they can only fit between 5 and 10 people in there. And they've got more people on the board than that. So Nick Fury's like saying, find another way, find another way. And so all of a sudden, these egg-shaped things that look like brains all open up and end up being kittens. And they're like, what's going on? And then so what they decide to do in order to save the people on the ship, they decide for these cats to literally swallow all these people so they can spit them out when it gets to Earth. I think it's Earth they end up at. You know what I mean? But it's just like so lame. It's like, why on earth would there be random eggs that look like brains on the spaceship in the first place? Who the hell put them there? And then they happen to be all cats, just with tentacles that suck all the people in. I mean, how would the people even have the oxygen in there? How would they even survive? I know other people have survived in their stomachs, but it's just weird. It's just weird shit. I'm like, this is just like some weird, shitty, weird thing that none of the other Marvel films seem to have in it. It's just like stupid. It's just like it makes no sense. I didn't like it very much, you know. I'm like, this doesn't make much sense. Like, why on earth would a brain type of egg just turn up randomly, happen to be another cat that can say and multiply into loads of cats because there are loads of these brain things and happen to save all the people on there? It's so far-fetched and unrealistic. It doesn't even say where these things came from. It's just like they randomly appeared across all the ship. It's like, why? Who sent them there? Because, you know, it wasn't Captain Marvel or anyone else that seemed to have put them there. Captain Marvel didn't even seem to know that Nick Fury's ship was in, you know, unsafe and in trouble till nearly the very end of the movie. And I'm just thinking she's supposed to be this all-powerful, all-knowing being. Yeah, she doesn't even know what's going on with her own boss's ship, basically. So I didn't think it was that great. I thought it was very far-fetched, and I thought these scenes, like, what the hell is going on? Why do they need some of these scenes? And what is the point of them? And why was that just appearing like that anyway? Some randomness. It's really weird. I don't get it. I really don't like the fact that Captain Marvel's supposed to be the, you know, like, as far as I'm concerned, she's supposed to be the best superhero, yet she ends up being the worst, in my opinion. She's the one that lets people die, you know, destroys things, but, you know, like, she has a conscience in this movie, but it's like, she seems to be the one that leaves the most people dying behind. She's the one that seems to have the lamest storyline. She's the one that's meant to be the most powerful, yet seems the most weakest in terms of, you know, in terms of actually saving people and helping the world and planet. I just don't get it. I don't know what the hell the producers and directors are up to. I thought I could bloody come up with something, excuse my language, better than they can do. I'm a writer, you know, and I'm thinking you should let me write something because I just think I could do a damn sight better. You know, it'd take me some time to think something up because I'd have to get into the kind of other characters and see what I could do with her. But I mean, there's got to be some better writers out there, not just me, other people. There's got to be some much better writers. I don't know why they get people to do Captain Marvel in these stupid lame ways. But I was really disappointed. I thought it was going to be a good. I still think it's a bit better than the first movie in some ways because obviously there's three superheroes. But you know what I mean? I just thought this is so lame. Like, you know what I mean? And I didn't even understand why she's married in this movie for a marriage of convenience. I still didn't really get it. The whole scene with this, the fact she's now a princess with a prince in some blimmin' other planet, it just seemed like pointless. They didn't have to have that scene in. And it's like, okay, what's the rest? You know, the marriage of convenience seems to be like, oh, they're friends apparently. But then when she needs them in battle, he comes to battle. But you don't have to get married to have someone helping you in battle. So it makes absolutely F all sense, you know. And the planet's weird anyway, because most people are just singing there the whole time. You know, it's just very, very, very strange movie. And there's totally unnecessary scenes. There's things that are completely far-fetched. There's things that don't have much logic of being there in the first place. And I just thought it was a bit of a mess. I didn't like the first Captain Marvel movie very much because I didn't think they showed her very much in a good light. And I didn't think they showed that much of her, you know, doing superhero stuff and saving the planet. But I just like it seems to me that she's away with the fairies most of the time. It seems to me that she's like, I don't know, in her own world where she's not really helping that many people. I just despair really. You know, it's like, why can't you write a really good storyline for her? I feel it's sad because I feel the actress probably could do with much better storylines. I don't think it's her fault. I think, although, you know, the acting could be a bit better from her, I think it's a lame storylines they give her. I think she could do much better and be much more powerful with better storylines. And I just think, you know, it's just rubbish. But I hope they, you know, if they do a third one, which I saw they will, I just hope that it's better. I actually thought the girl, Miss Marvel, was better than Captain Marvel in the movie. You know, she seemed to have more of a heart, more of a conscience. She seemed to kick ass a bit more, I felt. She seemed to be able to come up with solutions quicker. You know, she's a young girl and she just seemed better, I thought. She seems more like a leader, you know? I thought she's better. Apparently, there's a series I think she does on Disney Plus, but I haven't a series of her. But I don't watch usually the series. I haven't watched any series. I've always only watched the movies. But you know, I wouldn't you know, if you've got it on Disney if you've got Disney Plus, yes, give it a look, right? You can watch it, but I wouldn't really recommend it. I'm glad I didn't go to the cinema to see it, and it's not like a movie I think you should definitely see. I think if you've got not much better to do and you like superhero movies and you just wanna watch it because, yeah, you've watched the first one or whatever, or you just wanna see what it's all about, fair enough, but I mean, don't expect anything serious really, and don't expect the storyline to be great, and don't expect what I mean? It's just a bit lame, I thought. The storylines are just crap in it. I just yeah. The bit that's really good is a bit at the end of the credits that leads on to the next movie, no doubt. That's a really good bit. Like thinking, why couldn't all the movie just be like the last bit of the credits, you know? It'd be so much better. It seems like it's a better storyline. So I'm hoping that when they do the third one, which I'm sure they will, I'm hoping that the third one's going to be better than the other ones. But it just seems so lame. I mean, the Kree was in this, but all they did was flee. They didn't seem to have any strength in this. They just fled their home, had to leave people behind because Captain Marvel's like, oh, we have to leave some people behind, just get the people we can. And again, to me, that doesn't seem very superhero stuff. It's like, since when do superheroes go around, oh, well, I'll just leave some of them to die. It's fine. And we'll just take a few of them. It just seems so lame. Like when I watch superhero movies, most of the time, they try and get as many people as possible to the last one they can to board the ship. And the girl, Miss Marvel, could have actually saved more of them, but Captain Marvel kind of took over. And it's like, you're just leaving all these people to die. Don't you give a shit? What type of superhero are you? And it's just like, it just seems really unrealistic for a superhero movie to me. It just seems like if it's Captain Marvel and she's got all these superpowers, then why couldn't she do something to save these people when other superhero movies show other superheroes like fighting to the bitter end for the people that are dying, and trying to get everyone up, like Iron Man, for example. I love Iron Man. When it's Iron Man, I don't know if you remember the scene where he jumps out of a plane and he's getting all the people off the plane, the passengers that are flying in the air. He's like magnetizing their arms, and so they all stick together in like transformation. And when Iron Man's there, he like makes sure all of the people, the passengers, every single one, even though it's painful for him and it's upsetting for him and it's a lot of work for him, he makes sure every single passenger is still safe and well and alive. Do you know what I mean? He's like fighting for them. But when you see this film, Captain Marvel's just like, oh yeah, we just have to take what we can. It's like, take what we can, leave the rest to die. I mean, what sort of superhero does that? And it seems not bothered about them. I just don't get it. Why make the most powerful superhero the least powerful, in my opinion? Why make her have lame storylines? Why make her like not fight as much for people as the other superheroes do? I mean, to be honest, I was surprised they didn't do duplicate of her. I think that would be good. If I was doing a movie, I'd probably do the dark one of her and the light one of her. You know why they duplicate stuff? Because I think that would be probably quite interesting. Because I actually don't think she's that great as a superhero, period. I think like she could be much better, but I just don't think they portray her very well. And it's almost like she's not that great a superhero, but it's just like, to me, it doesn't fit in with the strength of the rest of the superhero movies. To me, she's the weakest one, and not in a good way, because you can have people think, oh, that person's weak because they cry. They did cry in the movie. That I thought that was good. I don't think superheroes shouldn't cry. But what I'm saying is she's weak in terms of like, I don't think she cares enough about people. That's how they portray a character. I don't think she uses her superhero powers as well. It's like, she's slow to do things and stuff. I'm like, seriously? She's Captain Marvel. She's supposed to kick effing ass, and she's supposed to be able to be there at lightning speed and stop things happening. And it's just like crazy. Absolutely crazy. I just didn't like the movie as much as some others. I thought some of it was just stupid. Very, very stupid. I think it's poorly written. I think she could have had much better storylines. I think the whole actual thing of trying to get a quantum bangle, is not a brilliant storyline as it is. But there wasn't really, the fighting was pretty much all similar, the same. It was mostly just them fighting this one person. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't that great. The fight scenes could have been a lot better, I think. They could have had more people fighting. They could have had some twists and turns, but they didn't. So it's not one I'd recommend as, like, go and watch it, but, like, for definite. But if you want to and you've got some time to spare and you wanna laugh at a lame film for a superhero movie, then go ahead. It's got no sex in it, so that's great, although she's married with a marriage of convenience. They're not having any kisses or sex. They do this, like, dancing, which is like ballroom dancing in the middle of this planet. I really don't understand. There's that scene and that whole setup with her having a marriage of convenience with some prince in a random, like, planet has bollocks, excuse my language, all to do with the story. It's like, why put that in there? It's just stupid. It's totally unnecessary, completely pathetic, and it makes no sense. You know what I mean? It's like, so she's married now in it for a marriage of convenience to a prince, and she's actually a princess. But, there wasn't any really good storyline in that, It's just stupid, the whole thing. It's like, "Oh, I've come to you. I'm gonna do some singing and, like, we're gonna do some be with the singers, do a bit of dancing, and then I'm just gonna say, 'Can you help me with your army of people to kind of, like, help me against the baddie?'" And that was about it. I'm like, well, you could have got some. Why didn't they bring in other superhero characters to kick ass? Why didn't they bring in, people like in from other movies? Do you know what I mean? Other Marvel characters to kick butt or something. Why did they just? It just seems stupid to me. I just didn't like it very much. I mean, I don't even think it was necessary for her to get the army to help anyway, his army, because it didn't really do much. It's better just with the 3 Marvels, her and the other 2, basically. So, yeah, I didn't really think it was that great, the Marvels. I hate dissing superhero movies because superhero movies is my favorite genre, but, I like Disney Pixar superhero movies and action thrillers and some family movies, but superheroes are one of my top rated type of movies to watch, but I was very disappointed, really. I think it's, if you've got Disney Plus, like I said, go and watch it. It's free. It's on there now. It's come out, but I wouldn't rush to see it, but it's okay if you want to laugh and think, my God, that just doesn't really make sense. And why the hell did someone plonk that there? There's no explanation. There's no explanation for why there's these things that look like brains that are actually eggs that have loads of cats coming out of them. And, like, there's no explanation. Just all of a sudden they start turning up on the ship. There's no explanation from where they come from. So it's literally like the director of the movie saying, "Oh, well, we need a way out. We need an escape plan for these people on the ship. So we'll just plonk all these weird looking brain eggs on there so they can cats can hatch out of it, and we can swallow them to deliver them to Earth." It's just so stupid. It's so far fetched, and it's so ridiculous, and it's so incongruent. Is the word I was using. There's no continuity or on congruency in certain parts of it. It's like, where did these eggs and brains come from? One minute, they're examining them like they're an actual brain, and then they're hatching like eggs. It's really weird. It's just so weird. Anyway, it's good it's got no sex in, because I think it's great that we have more movies that don't have any sex in it. So there's not really, any kissing in it. There's a little tiny bit of romantic dancing, if you like, but she's not even being romantic. She's just doing this dance with him before she asks him to help her with the army, but it's just like this ballroom type of dancing in space. Which is a bit weird, but there you go. So, if you don't really like romance, it's probably a good film to watch. If you hate sex, which I don't like sex because I'm a sex repulsed asexual, it's a good movie to watch from that point of view. It's another movie that doesn't have any sex in, which I am pleased about, because I get fed up of seeing, like, butts and cleavage and people flashing their bits everywhere and sex. So, from that point of view, it's good. And like I said, it's nice to have 3 superhero characters. I like that bit about it. So that was good. Their superhero costumes are quite nice as well. So, it's nice to see the fact that her friend's daughter's grown up now and is a superhero as well. Like I said, I think the Miss Marvel herself, I think Miss Marvel's better than Captain Marvel. I think she kicks more butt. I think she's very quick to respond and comes up with quicker solutions to things, to problems, to get out of them. So I thought the younger girl was better. But anyway, I'd love to know what you think if you watched the movie. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I am going to conclude tonight's live stream review of Marvel's movie. Thank you, Jonathan, for being in chat. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video of this channel. Also, if you like superhero movies, don't forget to get a copy of my fibromyalgia self-help handbook on Amazon. This is me in my real life superhero costume as Ace Fibro Girl. I don't know if you can see that. And so, yeah, this is how to manage fibromyalgia, have less pain, more energy, and feel happy like a superhero rock star. But it is autobiographical. So even if you don't have fibro, you can read it. It's like a self-development, personal development book. It's got like up to 25 aspects of your life that you need to decrease your pain in. And most of which apply even if you don't have fibro. But it's all like superhero chapters. Like they're all labeled superhero, like, you know, like how to master your environments to avoid an explosion. You know what I mean? It's like how to do the wrong thing to get the right result. So it's quite interesting, you know. But it says part 6 superhero power, but it does actually talk about how the qualities of a superhero that you need to help manage pain with fibro, and it does actually tell you exactly how I manage my fibromyalgia. And it's good if you haven't got much energy, if you've got some other issue where you have a lack of energy. So yeah, I like it because it is real life. So even if you just like an entertaining read, it's good, you know. So anxiety and depression has got stuff about that, how to reduce that, which is really good. How to overcome depression, really great. What to do in an abusive situation, which is not great to talk about, but it needs to be addressed. So I think that's important because your environment's very important. You know, create do's and don'ts for creating more energy within yourself. So yeah, if you check out facebook.com/acefibrogirl, you'll see me in my superhero costume as well, close up. So overcoming fears and applying your antidotes. Yeah, I give you the antidotes to fear and stuff like that. So it is really good. You know, I like it a lot. There's one point that talks like about a volcano as well. Erupting. It's really good fun. So yeah, go and get this. I think you'll like it. I have had people read it that don't have fibro because it's an interesting book. It's like everything I've learned over the years about how to reduce pain, because people have a lot of emotional pain which drives physical pain. People have a lot of mental pain which drives physical pain. So if you actually change things in your life, you can reduce your mental pain, reduce your emotional pain, which reduces your physical pain, whether you have fibro or not. Because most people, you know, well, quite a lot of people have pain in their life, like emotional pain, like distress, worry, upset, anxiety. Like it's not designed to like get rid of everything, but it's designed to help you manage it. But I do say how to overcome depression in this, which is good, and how to manage anxiety. So yeah, and obviously I've got my best-selling Asexual Perspectives book out on Amazon. So if you're new to asexuality, or you want to understand the asexual spectrum more, you want different perspectives of it, this is a really good book. It is a bestseller. So go and grab a copy of that as well. Yeah. So anyway, and the videos I do on here, just to let you know, are a mixture of education. I often do live streams which are educational, entertainment, lifestyle, and information. So I just used to do educational videos before, but now I do all different types of videos because I think they suit different types of people. And I think it's good to show you asexuality in real life context. That's why I do a lot of vlogs on here, like lifestyle vlogs, like what I get up to in my daily life. Because, you know, asexuality is a sexual orientation that's based on the lack of sexual attraction. And it can affect multiple aspects of your life. Like, you know, like when you have to talk to the doctor, if you have a employed job, or if you have to talk to people in everyday conversations, because a lot of people like are geared towards sex and thinking certain ways, you know. So I think it's really good to show asexuality in real life context, so you can see me overcome daily challenges, or what I do on a daily basis, so that you can get inspiration to go overcome your daily asexual challenges as well. Lots of love to you, and don't forget to subscribe, like I said, and hit the bell icon. Give this video a thumbs up. I'll see you soon in the next video live stream. Look, see, thumbs up. I've got special effects on some of my videos come up. I don't know how that happens. But look, fireworks as well. Look at that. Wow. Yay. I'll see you soon on the next video live stream. Lots of love. This is superhero power.